stream? Yep. You getting Suisei on Fortnite? I've been asked this question a couple times. As I suppose just makes sense. Does this work? Ah, it does work. Okay. Sign into chat. That's not what I wanted. Oh, shit. Can I go back? I cannot go back. Oh, come on. Can you just back? Okay, that works. And I give the same answer every time. Call me old-fashioned, but I actually don't think the Fortnite shtick of putting literally everyone in their game is that cool. I get what they're doing. It's sort of tongue-in-cheek, but to a degree, it's just kind of... I think the biggest problem is that if you play Fortnite as a returning player, as a first-time player, a long-time jerker, first-time buster, you're playing against bots. You're playing against bots for like a couple hours, and that's boring. A couple of games have done this. Mecha Break was the last one that I played that just had bots all the way up to the highest rank. Even if you played ranked, you'd still be matched with bots, which is horrible. So that's a problem. Enable preview. Can I just move this out? No, that's not what I wanted. I want the preview window to be huh. I should be able to lock docs. Is the preview not a doc? Oh, it's not a doc. Okay, fair enough. All right, let us go and show what my OBS looks like. It should probably be fine. OBS doesn't even allow itself to be captured. That's interesting. It doesn't show up as a window. That's interesting. I didn't know it worked like that. Why does it not do that though? Interesting. So there isn't really a possibility for me to do this, huh? I feel I hate clankers too. Fair enough. Well, you get my monitor then. There you go. One duplication. Now what I want to do is obviously there we go. Open preview source in a new window. And now I have my preview, and now I can disable this. Enable preview. There we go. Okay, now I can see my own preview, and you can see it too. If I showed this to you, so it's a little easy on the eyes. As far as I know, there's probably nothing too incriminating on this screen. There shouldn't be. The only thing that could really be harmful is if I show my stream key, but that one's hidden by default. There's nothing really else here that feels like it's just standard OBS stuff, so it's not really anything fancy. Now, what did I mean by today's stream? What's the plan for today? So, if you stream for a longer time, you have the problem that you start to use your scenes and stuff like that, and eventually it just gets kind of it gets cluttered. Bunch of stuff stops working, things break, and then you just leave it like that. And sometimes the idea is to take a step back and see what needs fixing, what can be optimized, and sometimes, and this is where I feel like Twitter's actually really good at. which is getting just kind of a glimpse and how other people are setting up their scenes. And that can be really helpful, because sometimes you see like a function they use that you've never used and stuff like that before. And I wanna see if I can make a quick deep dive on some optimization. So first of all, I'd like to, even though I technically never use it, multiple audio layers. So I don't really separate my audio, which is fine, I guess. Because the biggest reason is it's just tedious to do. I think you can put the mic and the audio on 2 layers at the very least. So especially for stuff like karaoke streams, that might be helpful. So let's see what we can actually find in the audio tab, because I believe it's not even in here. It's advanced audio properties. Yes, right, exactly. So we have like a bunch of tracks, and we can kind of mix them together a little bit, or like can have them separately. Now I have to kind of figure out how they work as a output. There we go. Let's see. I think yeah, okay. Doesn't even show the stream key because it's automated. Okay, fair enough. Audio track 1, recording settings. It only does audio track 1, which is interesting. Streaming. Ah, interesting. Okay, so there's audio track 1 and Twitch VOD track 2. Huh, that's interesting. I can't change these while I'm streaming, unfortunately. But I'd like to figure out what that actually means. Let's figure this out. Let's see if we can find the actual. So Twitch VOD track 2 means just the audio track 2. It's not even turned on. So the Twitch VOD will probably just be whatever, like just everything. Streaming, OBS, audio tracks. Well, let's see what we got. We got a little bit of a tutorial here. So let's go through this quickly and see if we can figure this out. Let's turn this down even more so it doesn't annoy me. Setting your audio sources to record multiple tracks is useful when working with an editor after you finished recording in OBS Studio. It is important to know that all standard video players will only play back one audio track at a time, so if you're not planning on processing every video through an editor before publishing it, send all of your audio sources to track 1, like you see in the example below. Audio properties, and then we have this setting. Okay. We have Firefox, which is track 1 and 2. Then we have Game, which is track 1 and 3. I see. Okay, so you have one track where everything is in there, and I'm assuming Twitch track that goes to the output. That basically just throws out everything. Although that's kind of weird. Why would you output every? Oh, that's in the recording. Okay, yeah. No, that makes sense. Okay. Each source is assigned to track 1 to ensure they all play back when watching a standard video player, and track 2 and 6 are used to separate the rest of the audio. Interesting. We can actually try that out. So we should be able to do this quite easily. So if we make a new let's see. We mix this up. Actually, I think what we always want, we want the mic track, we always want to be second, I think, because it's the second most important one, and the audio can just be on 3. That kind of makes sense. And then the volume is fine. That doesn't really matter. We have 2 and 3. And now if we go into settings again, we can kind of set what we're recording here. And I believe we can actually not change that right now. That's unfortunate. Would have been nice to be able to test this in a recording, but I believe this will not work. I will not be able to, and the audio track for streaming can only ever be one, so it makes sense on audio track one to just keep one of them. And then when you record, you have multiple audio tracks that in the bot when it turns out. But there is like a way that like, oh yeah, of course you can. What people were doing is for karaoke streams, what they were actually doing was for the VOD. If you do a karaoke stream, you don't send the background music to the VOD. So that's what I believe this is for. So the audio track is 1 and the VOD track is 2. So which means with our current settings, what would happen is on the stream, you will see the track 1, which includes both the music and the microphone. And on the VOD, you would only hear 2 without the music. So the stream would basically have muted music, but you could hear the vocals. And on track 3, there's just the music, which means that if you record at the same time and set it up in a way that it actually does record these as well, then you will have a file that has these stems separated. You have one track that has both, you have one track that has a microphone, and you have one track that's the audio, which means that if you want to do a VOD upload, you can actually separate these and maybe even do some post-processing. Maybe in one of these tracks, the music was too loud and you would like to turn it down a little bit just to curate. I don't think anyone's doing that for a karaoke stream, but technically that would be possible. And there's also a couple other ways where you could, like, interestingly, especially as the title says, it is very useful to if you have an editor or if you do editing yourself, that you can just kind of crop out the music, especially if it's copyrighted stuff for YouTube. I see this often when when people have like media redeems. So for like the context of the stream, there would be like a bunch of, or like people just redeeming music and stuff. And that's just stuff that's technically usually copyrighted at some point. So they wouldn't want that to show on the VOD or something. Otherwise, it just gets deleted. If you just keep uploading copyrighted VODs to YouTube, eventually your channel gets struck, and that's kind of annoying to deal with. You don't really want to do that. On Twitch, it doesn't really that matter. It just mutes the VOD, although that can be detrimental as well, because, if you have a portion of the VOD muted, that's definitely worse than just having no music. But then again, in some cases, the music might actually be a proper part of the experience and should not be turned out. So it kind of depends on what kind of stream you're doing, but it is good that I at least looked over these options, and I'll probably try these out after the stream, because I can't do it now. Unfortunately, I would like to make a recording and see what that looks like, but I can't really change stuff as of then and there. That was the first thing. So when it comes to audio recording, I'm always self-conscious about audio. That's just kind of the person I am, which is why I've even gotten a consultation on audio stuff. And you can see that all of that has happened in the filters. I have set a bunch of filters. There's a little bit of noise suppression, but that isn't really important. There is an expander. I believe this is and that would be a compressor again. Yeah. And this is an EQ, basic EQ stuff. Very, very simple stuff, a de-esser, because, why not? A little bit of gain to get a little back that we compress there. And then a limiter just in case I scream, which I don't really do. But, you can never be sure. Sometimes you bonk your mic or stuff and the guys get really loud and you don't really want to do that. So that's kind of the perfect way of doing it. And as we know, as we look down below, my audio levels are pretty fine. I'm comfortably within the yellow zone, which means that I should always be audible enough, and I will never clip That means I will never be too loud. The loudest I can be is -4, which is halfway through the reds, and it doesn't get worse than that. And the music, I usually try to hover between, usually I compensate a lot with the music because if the music's too quiet, then it doesn't matter. But if the music is too loud, it becomes difficult to listen and like actively annoying to listen to someone, because you have to actually try and like really, it's not a relaxing experience. So I prefer to have the music very, very down low, especially if I'm talking. So that's definitely set up, and I don't think there's anything wrong with the setup as of today. I think that well, that's my Discord. I should be careful that you know, we're streaming my display capture, because that's the only thing. Is there really no other way of doing this? Well, I'll just have to be more conscious. There's nothing too bad that can happen on my stream, I believe. I've shown worse things than my DMs, I believe. Have I? No, I mean, I've read a manga once that had nudity in it. But other than that, I believe you're overall pretty safe. So the next thing is we have Creative Commons. Not Creative Commons. What was it called? Captions. Creative. No, what is CC standing for? Caption. Closed captioning. Creative Commons is like a copyright license. It's usually under like some products and stuff like that. I used to like this feature, being able to like put it on and then having a if I enable it, there should be a way of and then caption source, that would be the mic, and that should work. Yep. And now we have captions. These captions, they work okay, I think. I believe I'm clear enough that a captioning system can, for the most part, pick up what I'm saying. And it's interesting to just, I don't think anyone uses this. It is a usability feature. It's a nice to have, but it's definitely not something that I think is super mandatory. I have it. I turn it off for some reason, but I guess we can check what it looks like on Twitch, because this is actually stuff that they sent directly to Twitch, I believe. This plugin. Although I'm not sure if that works. It might just be by default. I think Twitch has their own system. So, oh yeah, you are correct. It has not saved the stream settings, or I have not done this. I see. Now it should update. Let me see. Yep, it has done this. Okay, fair enough. It also has no category now. I didn't even know that works that way. I apologize. I thought I saved these, but I guess not. Now we have. So let's see what happens if I turn these off, if they disappear on Twitch, but I don't think they do. I think Twitch has their own feature. Oh no, that is true. It doesn't work anymore. Then it's disabled. I mean, you can activate it, but it's not showing anything. Again, if I enable it again, then Twitch should also... Yeah, okay. That's cool. Okay, I'll leave it on. It is a nice feature. I have it for a reason. So it will stay on here for now. Can I get these out? Yep. Just something I used because I had a plugin once. Not a plugin, but I wanted to make like a chatting scene, save for the fact that a lot of times it just gets it wrong. but there is a couple interesting features you can do with it. So that is definitely something that I've enjoyed doing. All right, we have transitions. Transitions I've not been using too much. I usually use this menu. So if I wanted to transition to a different scene, there's like the fade that goes very slowly. Or you just transition right away, just really quickly. Nothing too fancy. There is cut, fade. There's all these options. Sorry for like going back and forth, but as you can see, this is very standard stuff. There is probably more options. Oh yeah, there is stingers, huh? I've never really done this. That is an interesting feature. We've never done this before. So a video file. It wants a video file. Do I have something that could count as a stinger? That's difficult to do. I think I need like a proper I need a proper transitioning one. But I can see if I can find something. Let me see. Let's see what it looks like with just a regular ass video. Do I have the video of the Arc Knights, the Enfield thing? Yep. Let's see if that works. Okay. Preload video to RAM. Transition time. Frame. Transition point. 300 milliseconds, I guess. Well, let's do like... I guess it would be like this. Wait, what is going on? Apparently setting the stinger actually makes my CPU go really hard. Requires a lot of RAM. Oh, I see. A typical 5-second video takes 1 gigabyte, but that's like 30 seconds. I see. Okay, makes sense. I can see how the stinger actually works because I'm curious. Wow, it actually did really nuke my RAM, didn't it? Huh, that's interesting. You can see that the encoding is completely shot, and it doesn't go down anymore either, which is interesting. It shouldn't though, because now is it now stuck in RAM? That would actually be horrible if that was the case. Did I break my OBS to the point that it's unusable now? Let's see if we remove the stinger, if it also disappears from RAM. It does. Okay, fair enough. Okay. Reminder to myself, don't just load a long ass video into a stinger. That makes sense. Okay. Let's see if we can do this again. But this time, find something a little smaller. Sort by length. Okay. We have a 2-second video. How about that? That should be fine. Okay. Let's see what happens if I do the stinger transition. Ah, I see. Okay. So we have if we switch to a different scene and then we activate the stinger, the video plays right away and then just goes. Is there different options? I've never used this. Is there like a fade out of transition point, then fade in, crossfade? Oh, that's audio. I guess the stinger doesn't... The transition has to be within the... Yeah, it makes sense. Okay, fair enough. Okay, cool. I don't have a Sting at home, so no point in having this. It's good to know that this is how it works. Learning about stuff is actually kind of important. Okay, so audio's fine. We don't need to do anything here. We have filters here that I've never really used. We can just delete these because we don't need them. And I believe a couple of the filters for this one is also not. Oh, that's the reverb. This is the I believe this is the karaoke filter that I have. I can't really tell because I can't hear it, but you should be able to. So that's kind of nice. I can probably rename these. Reverb karaoke. Not sure if I'm ever gonna need it. There's a bit crusher. That one's kind of nice. I'm not sure what this is set to. This might actually destroy your ears, but I don't. Oh, that was for my April's Fool stream. Yeah, I remember. Where I streamed in like 144p and like 10 FPS. That was a good stream. Okay, that's kind of a cool feature though. I do like that. So we'll keep this one around. A bit crusher. There we go. And then this one, that's just a that's an additional EQ for the bit crushing. Just taking out the lows and the highs, just so it looks like it. Oh god. Please don't. Some of these plugins are a little bit finicky. All right, this is another standalone. We can remove this. The noise gate I never used. I don't think I need that because there's not enough noise here. So we now have everything pretty much set up. I'll just leave it like this because this kind of self-explanatory. It's easier to know that these are OBS's own filter, and these are VST plugins. So that's kind of important. Oh yeah, we never switched the scene back, huh? I don't see. No, that's it is what it is. Okay, but yeah, this was just this this little menu. You can load VSTs into this. This is a VST file is usually for digital audio workstation. I'm not exact. DAW. That's like your Reapers and your Audacities. Although Audacity is more of just like a simpler tool, but yeah. So how people make their songs and stuff like that, and they have like a standard called the VST. I don't know what it stands for. Something audio or something sound plugin. And to make sure that all of these can be used in between programs. Usually all of these have like an interface where you can load VSTs into them, and OBS has one as well. It is an external plugin. It doesn't allow that by default, and it's also deprecated, but thankfully it is still working because it's a very important thing because the built-in versions for compressors and stuff aren't actually that good. So that's one thing, and I'm glad that this kind of works. All right, now coming to my scenes. My scenes always need cleaning up. For now, I will export my stage collection. Just to make sure that in case I break something today, I can always get it back. But I have just recently, or not recently, but I think like a half a year ago or something, I have redone all of my scenes as I was updating. So that's everything's still kind of up to date, but stuff has been moving around, and I want to kind of see if anything holds up here. So we're starting off with our first one. This is the HD intro scene. This one I made for the debut, I believe. Kind of a quaint little HD scene that I use sometimes. The Kaiser project thing is a little bit deprecated as a name. I don't think I'm really using that anymore. I do kind of. The YouTube channel is still called that. It's hard to say because I want to have like an encapsulating name for my project in general, and then there's obviously me as the name. But I guess it's just a quirky graphic design thing, doesn't really matter. This one is, I believe, the Uma Musume intro. Yep, just a very simple Uma Musume intro. I don't believe we're gonna need this anymore. I don't think I'll be playing Uma Musume anytime soon. The game has lost me, and so we don't need that. This is my car intro. This one's pretty cute, actually. I do like that one a lot. This doesn't really have any use. It's kind of a... I don't do racing streams, and this was more of just a tech demo, I suppose. I wanted to pose my my characters on a car, because cars are great. Cars are brilliant visual set pieces. So, but we don't really need this one. We can just remove that one. We don't need it. I don't need it. And this one is the Admiral scene that I've used for a stream a while ago. Nothing too fancy, but I do like this one. We'll keep this around. And that's kind of it. We usually have some audio that goes with it. If we go back to main 2, you could, I mean, you can't really see it, but you can see that some of these, I guess you really can't see it. These have audios, but they're muted usually because I usually put the audio in my audio program. Makes it easier to just kind of control the volume and stuff like that. I don't like audio playing out of OBS, and the reason for that is because I can't hear it myself. There is a way to make it that you can hear it yourself, but then the capturing is a little annoying, and so I prefer to not do that. Was that my phone? That was my phone. Right. I'll charge my phone. Sure. That way I'll get up in time in the morning. And also get something to drink. Give me a second. Just getting some water. Now, the pixel intro is pretty simple. I believe there's only one thing on there. And that is... No, there's actually more on this. That's interesting. Okay. We do have the old Minhara Monday kind of the Admiral starting screen. That one is close to my heart. That's why it's called Heart. But we don't need that for the time being. We can always put that later. But yeah, this is the loading screen. The very comfortable one. I do like this one a lot. We also have a fish spin for some reason. It doesn't do anything because the file isn't there yet anymore, so we can remove it. And there's also text. Please wait, stream starting soon XD. That's also from the April stream. We can remove that. All right, we got the Enfield loading. This one is this one's actually my old main one, so I should probably clean this up a little bit. We'll remove 24 items, and now it looks perfectly fine. There's only 4 there's only 4 layers on this. Actually, what I wanted to do is probably kind of make these look a little bit orderly. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put in dividers actually. So we're doing dividers. I guess we're doing dividers now. And then rename these. Yep, just do it a little more. And then down here would be the, and of course, because we are kind of trying to, yes, there we go. Okay. Intro. So these are intro screens. So I would like to put the intro in front. Intro and field. There we go. This is a lot better. Rename intro pixel. Pixel day. And then intro HD hero valley. Yeah, it's fine. Whatever that's called. All right, this is nothing. Oh, this has the this has my RL stream stuff in it. Yeah, nothing is plugged in there, so there isn't really a way for anything to leak. You won't suddenly see my face. There's not a webcam pointing towards me. The only thing that's pointing towards me is the iPhone, and that thing can barely handle catching my face and tracking it. Won't be able to, even though this thing does say iOS camera. I believe this is something that I haven't installed. Yep, it's not even in there anymore. Oh yeah, I did this for the anniversary stream where I tried to stream real hardware stuff, yeah. But by pointing the camera at the TV, because I feel like that's a cool effect. I honestly think we don't need this anymore. This scene will be completely rebuilt the next time I do it, so we don't need this. Game intro scene. Game intro scene. You are not of any use. All right, these are intermission. These are these are intermission scenes. Okay. This is a video, of course. I can switch to this. This is my usual loading screen. I like this one. It's a little scuffed, but it's not terrible. And then the black one is just this one. I can change the theme. I can change the theme of it a little bit. We're not making entering the void. We're making this. Hello. Oh. Please wait. Enough. That's simple enough. If I need a black screen for some reason. I love this. The tiny guy. He's so cute. All right. I will rename these two. Loading. How do we call this? Info sheets. And then, nope, don't remove. Loading, black, simple black. Oh, that has rename. Do it correct. All right. Pixel scene night. Yes, and the pixel scene day. What's your opinion on Prince Charming? Oh yeah, that was a stream, yeah. This one breaks regularly, and there is a problem for that. I can show you. The biggest problem is these images tend to not load, and it turns out this is because I keep uploading them on Discord or whatever. And the links keep breaking after a while, which is annoying. I guess I can just switch to the scene and you'll see. It's just a little tedious. Not a big fan. So we need to, I wonder if I can point towards the images on my drive, because I'm not sure how and where it renders the HTML for this particular chat box. It must be in OBS, so it should be able to just grab files from my PC. Although what is shown is a browser source, and the browser source, but the browser still has to get the images from somewhere, the way it can't display them. But if the plugin is on a server, the server can't get the files for displaying it. So if the browser source means it's hosted on Streamlabs. So Streamlabs, the widget, whatever, needs to be able to grab the image from somewhere, and can't grab it from my PC because it doesn't have the permission, thankfully, which means that I do have to upload them somewhere online. I believe it makes the most sense to put these on a Google Drive or something, at least so it lasts a little bit longer. We have a loading. This loading can go. Ideally, I would like these scenes to be identical, but I tend to move them around a little bit. It's another display capture. We don't need that. An application audio capture. We also don't need that. Yeah, we have a couple of window captures. We can just kind of remove these. And there's a browser capture. We also don't need that. And that's the whole thing. This is the chat. We can rename that chat. And then there is a big ass sprout capture above. Perfect. And ideally, I would like to replicate this exact scene. Game capture. Yep. So why are these different from each other? Yep, that's perfect. All right. Rename. Overlay. Pixel day. And then relay. Oh, rename. Overlay. Pixel night. There we go. Pretty good stuff. Let's transition back here so we actually get to see something. All right, then we have our end screen here. That one's pretty good. We have two of them. We have our HD one. Really great stuff. I always thought about, do I put text over it? Do I say thanks for watching, or do I just let it rip? Because I think this animation is very simple, but it is just so effective for like a goodbye stream. That's actually kind of wild. Such a huge fan of this one. This is probably the best piece on the entire stream. Like, this is literally the best piece of content I have. Just 4 pixels, 4 screen frames or whatever, how many he did for this, and it's kind of nice. All right, okay. Then we will rename these two. Outro pixel night. I guess we will add another scene to kind of this name's already in use. Okay, sure. Sure, whatever you want. Mm-hmm. Rename outro .k. .k because that's the name of the guy who made it. Just easier for me to remember. Make them remember. So dynamic lighting. This is a dynamic lighting scene, which which probably should be in here and called scene. Dynamic lighting. And dynamic lighting is something that I always wished. There is a couple of there's a couple of plugins that do these dynamic lighting stuff, but it's actually not really. I should probably advertise my stream. I never do this. Maybe I'll just do it now. I made the thumbnail. Might as well throw it on. I don't know why. I wish there were more games that let me be a necromancer. What the hell? Why did I repost this? Oh, I probably fat fingered that. Okay. Time to mess around with my OBS and installing all plugins that I can find. Yippee, that will be a fun time. And I've totally not already been live for an hour already and forgot to post the link here. There we go. Not that I really care because I rarely ever advertise my stream at all, but hey, we can pretend. We can pretend. All right. Let us keep going. So we have the outro scenes. Also, hello, Alto. Hope you've been doing great. Then we have a couple more main scenes. And now these are usually very cluttered. I usually have a main scene that is sort of a playground. And you need a scene like that. You can't always have like your neat, tidy scenes. You need something where you can just throw stuff on if you do not know. If you need to do something new, if you need something spontaneous, you need like kind of a playground where you can just have all the scenes in there and it just grows bigger and bigger, but there's nothing permanent on there. So it's not a neatly tight scene where you just have a stream where you know this is the exact overlay that you need. So that's kind of the main scene. I like to keep that around, and I would not want to clean that up. Scene main. Main can go here. All right, what else do we have? Just chatting and battleground and BG. So this one's kind of interesting. This has my overlay. I don't know if I like this one. I made it myself, but let me become a little larger and in charger. This is sort of a corporate style VTuber thing, right? Where you're like you're on a big screen and then there's the chat and there's this maybe like room to put stuff on, like a browser or something. So that would be a possibility. I rarely ever use this. I don't know. I just throw it on the screen if there's something that I have to show, but technically there would be a use for this. Interestingly enough, this is not a background image that is meant to be a background image. This is a skybox for Unity. Surprisingly, very, very adorable sky that it can be used as background. I'm not sure how legal that is. I mean, copyright-wise, using a skybox image to use as a background for something entirely different. I'm also using the skybox, so that's not it. It has seen its use in my fair share of scenes, but this is kind of the place we're at right now. So I don't know. I'll keep this around because why not? There's no harm in doing that. We'll name it scene just chatting Sky BG. Yeah, sure. Easy enough to figure out. And then there is an IRL scene again. Thankfully, it's not revealing anything important. There's a couple of things in there that I'll keep in there. Because there's some networking settings in there that I don't really want to keep dragging up because it's kind of annoying. But I'll put this all the way in the bottom because I don't really need it. IRL walkies, I guess I can call it. It's fine. We got raid loading and raid scene. This is the old it's the Maxwell fight. This has been deprecated and will most likely not see any use anymore. So these can go. I don't need these anymore. Goodbye. All right. Cool. My scenes have been cleaned up. That's pretty good. Let's see. We'll export these scenes again. Hero scenes 2. Perfect. And now we continue with our work through OBS. Now, some people have different ways of showing their OBS and stuff like that, and there's a lot of philosophies. I have everything that I need, which is basically just a scene switcher and nothing else. I have chat on the left side, separated in YouTube and Twitch chat. That's pretty much all I need. I don't need it to be any more visible. It sits, since this screen that you're seeing right now is on the right side, which means that even if I look on my left screen, which is my main screen right in front of me, if I just glance to the right, I can immediately read chat out of peripheral vision pretty much. So it is at the perfect spot pretty much. Granted, that means the second screen has to be always unoccupied. So I can run OBS in full screen, but that's pretty much what you should be doing anyways. You shouldn't be, unless you're like in the process of doing something, OBS should be open at all points of your stream so you can actually figure that out. A lot of people use external devices. Some people like using a phone for chat or an iPad or stuff like that. That allows them to kind of like keep track and stuff. I could imagine that if you need the screen real estate. I honestly don't. When I stream, I usually have very single-minded ideas, stuff that doesn't require a lot of real estate when it comes to that, which means that I usually chat gets rarely buried, I would say. So that is definitely my comfort. Having 2 monitors, one is dedicated to all the mechanics of the stream, just OBS, and then the main screen is usually where the magic happens. Now, there is a bunch of extra stuff that a streamer can do and may need, and that lies on Twitch's website. Stuff like the mod view. There's a couple of different things you can do. However, I really, really, really don't like Twitch. I do not like the website. I don't like browsing it. I don't like using it. So for me to go into like anything that is on Twitch's side, I I usually have to look for in particular, and I don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy the features. I'm sure there's a couple things there that are actually quite nice. However, it's nothing that I need at the moment. So I don't need to have the mod view on the second monitor. If someone says something dumb, it will show up on my chat and I'll ban them and that will be fine. Something that I don't think I ever had to do before. I guess that's perks of being a Void streamer. The Void doesn't tend to make a lot of noise around these parts. I separated YouTube and Twitch chat widgets. There's one slight downside. I've added them both as docs, and while Twitch has an unchanging URL to its chat box, turns out YouTube keeps generating a new token or like a new URL for the chat whenever I do a new stream, which is kind of annoying. That means I have to go to YouTube, get the link and then paste it in here. However, if I want to stream on Twitch, on YouTube, I will also have to fill out the entire thing. I have to put in like the video, just like you would upload a video. Video title, description, thumbnail, all that stuff. And in that same way, in that same menu, there's also the viewer, the chat box, which I can just pop out and get the link out of. Very simple stuff. There's probably easier ways to do this. I've heard of methods being able to consolidate your chat into one thing. However, I don't think it's too much of a loss if someone watches on Twitch and I answer a question that a YouTube guy has. Usually, I mean, always, at least that's how it works. My chat will show where you come from. So it has like a Twitch or a YouTube icon, I believe. I guess we can just test it out. I actually haven't looked at it in a while. Yep, that's the Twitch icon right there. I can barely see it because everything's small for me, but yeah, that's basically how it works. There's also the mod icon and stuff like that. So I guess I'm the streamer, so it's a stream icon. Very simple stuff. So I keep it pretty much bare bones. There is not much more to this, but there is more. There is way more that I've done with OBS in the past, and there is a lot of plugins and cool stuff that I found to be relatively useful over the years, and I should probably try to see if I can find something that might strike my fancy. Now, one of my favorite plugins that I've been using is StreamFX. StreamFX is an opportunity, is a possibility to mess around with these kinds of filters. They are user-defined shaders, and then if you just load them from a file, there is a bunch of them. There's embers, for example, as you can see, and then we have a bunch of luma. Now it's just kind of burning on screen here. Now we have embers floating. This is a very simple graphical 2D effect. It kind of reminds me of reshade. Reshade is the thing that they use. And if we use something like cell shaded, I don't know what that is. That looks interesting. Why only that layer? Because it's only that layer. Blink, box blur. There's a box blur thing, of course. We can pull up the strength. Now everything is blurry. So there's a bunch of cool options, and there's even stuff like scan lines and stuff. This was the one. We do it at a 0 at a 90-degree angle, of course, and then we animate the speed, and then the angle was at 90, and then you can kind of like do the floor and the period. Or just kind of you can barely see that. It's probably gonna mess with the bitrate a lot, but this was basically what I used for a CRT filter. Very hard to get that right because it's not a real filter, not like a proper analog filter. So it's very rudimentary, I would say. They're very simple VFX features, but it also comes with a couple of really good stuff. The dynamic lighting is kind of similar to that, although I think that one just uses base stuff. So on source, you put in Oh, it wants a window for that, huh? That's fine. Give me something. Give me my music. There we go. Right. Okay. Has this worked? Huh. Does it not? Oh, is it because it's just too bright? Or does it not work at all? Right, let me try mixing this up a little bit. Let's find a walkies video, just to be able to quickly test this out, because I feel like this should work out of the box. Give me some walkies. Yep. That's it. All right. Source would be this one. Okay. It appears the dynamic lighting is in fact not working. Why would it not work? Oh, because it needs to have the same source down here, right? There we go. Okay. It just needs to double up. I forgot. Okay. Can it not... capture method, window match priority. I wonder if there was like an opportunity to just take the source from someone else. But yeah, now that this is dynamic lighting, and if we go into the darkness, you can see now it's dark. And if I go back to the lighter area, I'm actually brighter, which is kind of nice. Just kind of fits the general vibe that I should probably use more often when playing atmospheric video games. Might be pretty interesting. But yeah, that's dynamic lighting for you. That does work. Now I kind of want to do walkies, huh? Maybe we'll have to do walkies on the weekend. That's a dynamic lighting scene, and that's the plugin that's used for. Let's see what else we have, because we have quite a bunch of stuff. We have quite a bunch of stuff. I guess I never showed you, huh? I should probably show you. It's kind of tricky, but yeah, this is the dynamic lighting. If it's bright out, then my model is also pretty bright. Although that might be a little bit too much, honestly. Let me see. Yeah, I mean, what you gonna do, huh? No, it's actually okay. And then we switch to this. It's just gonna be a little bit darker. Very nice stuff. Okay. Alright. Enough walkies. Not what we're here for today. What we want to do is check some of our other plugins, because we have a bunch of extra stuff that helps us with just all kinds of things, and I've installed a couple of them. We have an output timer. Interesting. That's new. That's actually a base feature. That's not what I was looking for. Automatic scene switcher. That's interesting. Okay. Oh, is that... Okay, the automatic screen switcher is when no window matches. I see. When the video or when a scene doesn't get any input, it immediately switches to a different scene. Interesting. I'd like to do that manually. Not a problem at all. We got a couple of scripts, which is an advanced timer. Okay. I believe this sends it to a text. Yep. Actually quite useful. And that's the retro stuff. And these are like Python plugins. What this does basically is it's pretty simple. You just add this to it, nothing to it.
like this. Yep. You increase the size a little bit so you can actually see stuff. And then what you do is you have you rename this to timer so you can actually find it in the list. Timer. And then you go to tools, you go to scripts, you go to advanced timer, you send this to timer, I guess. Specific time 24 hours and then start. 24 hours? 024. Wait, what? Oh, this is because it's... Ah, I see, okay. Ah, this is how many specific time, yeah. Countdown. Countdown, count me down. 6,000 seconds? What was that? No, what's an hour? 3,600? Yep. Kind of nice. Just gives you a very basic timer, and obviously, due to the fact that this is one of these, you can kind of like match these up a little bit and stuff like that. Really cool stuff. Very simple. I love simple stuff like this because I don't need ultimate functionality. I don't need anything. I just need something visual that I can style to my desire, whether it be through HTML or CSS or something even simpler. Just this text. Now the text module on OBS is relatively limited. It doesn't have quite as many features as, let's say, a Photoshop text layer would have, but in many cases it should be all right. You could export this to an HTML, I believe. That would probably be totally fine, but that requires some knowledge on how this works and how you'd make a script. But you can probably just output this to anything. But yeah, now we have a timer here, and that is totally not ominous at all. So let's put this down here and let this running. With NDI output settings, that's pretty simple. NDI is network something. It's for sending video data, I believe, or video information over network. Usually used for either tracking or video footage. You can send these to a web server. You can put these onto an output here. If you want to, for IRL streaming, this is pretty useful, but I don't use this. But having the what's up here? Having the option to have it anyways is pretty good. There's a WebSocket setting. There's my port. Please don't hack my port. Usually for StreamerBot and other things that need a WebSocket to allow running all kinds of data and fetching information from like a different web server or something like that. I have used that before, but it's tedious as all hell, and also takes up quite resources. Now, spout output settings is pretty interesting because you can put out like the entire canvas as a spout output, which is interesting because not only can you use that then to put into something else, it has a couple of interesting other functionality as well. But yeah, this is kind of interesting. This, however, hogs a lot of resources. I had this on for some features. I made like a custom dynamic lighting system. So what you can do is you can even output certain scene as spout, I believe. That's even easier. So you can like, if you, for example, want to export the timer, you go to filters, you add one, and then you add a spout, and then, oh, that's not actually what I wanted, huh? Is there a normal spout filter? There we go. Right. And then spout OBS filter. And now if we wanted to import this into something, we can actually do that. If you're asking why is this at all useful, I can show you. there is a couple of applications that actually do work with this pretty well. Let's see if I have my good old Shoost that I kept using. Now this might actually crash everything, and that is kind of the problem with like eating stuff like in Ouroboros. So this is a sort of it's another VFX program. It allows you to feed in an input and then put stuff over it, like effects and stuff. And the way that looks is if we... I knew it. It was gonna crash. It's not crashing. Okay. But it's struggling. The problem is because Varudo is also a GPU application that runs in Unity. This is also a Unity application. It starts getting really annoying. So if we do auto start here, or we don't auto start, but we start the OBS spout. We have now created a source with our entire canvas, I believe. What we can do now is don't window capture. Oh, we need to enable spout in here. Yep. Spout capture and output. What you can do is spout capture, and we have OBS spout, which means that we have now imported the entire OBS scene into this thing. And now we can add some effects. For example, a film grain effect, and then we have a diffusion settings. This is some of my favorite stuff to use. And then we could send the entire scene back to OBS, which doesn't make sense because then you just end up with this thing, which is, you know, the infinite mirror. But you could see how that would be useful. You could send this entire thing. You can even send this... Spout's not a network protocol. You can't send it over network, but you can send this through like some interface to something else. That might make some use out of it. And the coolest thing is, and I believe that's actually the coolest stuff, you can not only, like, sending the entire scene is usually not super useful because you're already sending it to your screen. There isn't really much more you can do. But you can also, with the spout filter that I mentioned, you can capture simple, like single layers, even stuff that's not visible. So if you just wanted to render something in the background, and I did this for one of the TV screens where I played some footage of a color partner. I played the video in OBS in the back, so I didn't have to open up VLC on the side and have problems with like rendering and stuff, and then just sent the scene from OBS to Varudo, and then sent the entire Varudo scene back to OBS and overlay it over the other video. Turns out that takes a lot of resources. Sending stuff back and forth is actually quite annoying for the GPU. I don't think it likes it that much. So lesson learned. Just get a better rig, I suppose. But there is these options, and they're quite fun to explore. So it's kind of good that we always have these stuff. There's cloud closed captions. That's closed captions. We have seen that. That's the scene collection. That's basically standard stuff. Countdown timer, another one. I don't know why I have another one. But sure, I guess. Timer. I guess it doesn't work. But yeah, this would be an extra. This would be another timer that I guess I don't need because I already have shown out. I have an output. No, that's not the one. What did I have? Scripts. It was in the script. Advanced timer. Yeah. I guess this one's a little better. Who knows? Oh yeah, can we stop this real quick? I think that should be possible, right? Start, stop, and reset. Enough. That's how it works. Now, if we use the other timer, the countdown timer, And now it's in here, and it's still sending the same stuff. So it's basically the exact same plugin, just twice. I don't know why I don't need to do them. All right, let's see what else we have in dogs. These are the stats. Not super important, I feel like. This is usually for troubleshooting stuff. There's a couple of rendering frames missed and skipped. Very few. This was a little bit when I was overloading the RAM with my Stinger. But for the most part, this seems all good. OBS usually tells you when stuff is going wrong. The multi-stream stuff is very simple. You just press one button and it works. It's kind of nice. Everything else seems to be done by YouTube. Really good. Chat, another chat window. Don't really need that. Already have that here. Don't know why. Oh, I see. It's down here. Okay, makes sense. I made it as a separate widget. Makes sense. Yeah. And then Twitch stats. I wonder what this one is. Ah, I see. Okay. Shows me how many viewers I have. Not that I really care. Activity feed. That's the one that should be over here. Yep. We already have this one. Perfect. Twitch activity. Yep. That's pretty much it. There's more options for docs. Again, I made these by hand. Don't really need to. OBS comes with them, but they're pretty much exactly the same thing, so it doesn't really matter. But there might be more tools. So let's check out what kind of Wakanda tools we have. I followed a Japanese guy on Twitter, as you can see here, indicated by the Japanese and the Twitter. He's been making some OBS stuff and retweeting stuff, and some of these are actually pretty interesting because there's a couple of people that make a lot of assets for OBS too, not just for other things, but also not just Live 2D assets or VTuber assets, but also for OBS. I also need a piece of candy. It's not really candy, it's for a soothing throat experience. Have a little bit of a raspy throat. Had that for quite a while. I need to get that checked out. I don't really know what it could be, but it's been pretty annoying streaming with it, that's for sure. So this guy has an archive, apparently. That's on Booth. We'll check that out. Should be safe. It's gonna be tough because these plugins are all gonna be in Japanese. Bingo material, okay. Management with the checkbox, okay, not really that important. Conversion deck, random topics, okay. Win-loss counter also displays win rate, okay. Display tips with away screen. Okay, what is this? Oh, I see. It's just a simple text screen. Okay, nothing too interesting. Let's see what else is there. I think he's just sharing his own stuff, but there might be some other stuff as well that I've been looking for. I know there was like a custom clock, which is kind of interesting. All right, so what is this one? Let's see. Ah, I see. It's just a kind of interactive HTML checkbox. Very simple stuff. Okay. Kind of nice though. Oh, this is kind of like drawing a card. Sure. Fair enough. Just some simple tools. Yeah. Damn, he's retweeting. guys playing League of Legends. Okay. Shouldn't be enamored by it. Well, that's about as good as it gets for this guy. I thought he had a little bit more to offer, but we have a second guy that I do believe also has some plugins. Mama Chuchurin. This is a guide to building one-of-a-kind personal site that cannot be achieved with tools. Ah, I see. Okay, just a website. All right, he did a clock, which is kind of cool. I asked him if there was a possibility to do a stopwatch, but it turns out I already had one. Wait, what the hell is this? Oh, my YouTube stream doesn't seem to like play properly. Oh, that's okay. I mean, it does, but it doesn't really advance as fast. Kind of weird that it kind of lags behind. At least in my preview, it's still like I can like zoom forward, I guess, and then I'm in the most recent spot. But didn't I want to? Oh, I wanted to remove the timer, but it didn't. The milestone number. You got some followers, that's for sure. Is that really all he had? Damn, I thought there was more to this. Is there really no cool OBS plugins that I can use now? There was something else, I'm not remembering what it was that I wanted to use, but I don't think I will find it. Okay, fair enough. All right. This was a strange stream. Turns out my scenes are totally fine. There isn't much that I needed to fix. I organized a little bit, but overall, I guess my OBS is as clean as it gets. I would say behind the scenes it's a little bit more convoluted because I have a bunch of different projects. For example, the Don't Look in My RPG Maker folder. That thing is hideous. But as far as other streaming stuff goes, I try to keep it relatively tidy. At least I'll be able to find whatever I need, because there's nothing worse than having an idea or like remembering right, remembering what you wanted to say. No. If you like misplace an asset or something, or you have like an idea and you really want to do it, but you're like, where did I put that file? Where did I put that program? Where I put that plugin? And it's like always annoying, especially if you switch like to a new version and all the plugins are gone and stuff like that. It's horrible. I started making backups of a bunch of stuff. I even have like my OBS scene backed up, so I could just stream from another location very easily by just downloading stuff from my Google Drive. You're pretty handy with these knickknacks. Too bad you're gay. That's up for debate, honestly. I've been shifting. They do be making some banger girls these days. Some banger women. They do be printing those. And the boys, you know, take it or leave it. They obviously have their own charm, but it's like, for me, it's actually harder to get along with guys. For some reason. Even though, obviously, my friend circle is predominantly male, it still feels like it's not the easiest to like build a proper connection with a dude. I guess they're not gay enough, huh? So what is this? See, now we're getting into this. Now we're just finding random shit. Now, what is this? Oh, it's like a canvas where you can drop a bunch of messages. Oh, is that a chat box, actually? Wait, is that a chat box? Are you telling me this is a chat box? Telepon. Oh no. Not Google AI. What do you want from me? A next generation streaming assistant tool that uses Gemini's latest AI, Gemini Live API, to listen to the streamer's voice and viewer comments and display responses, comments, and summaries in real time. I mean, that's rough. It's fucking slop. They be making slop. It's rough. It's rough out here. But Japanese are lost to AI too. So what do we do now? What do we do now? Is there anything else? So my Varudo scenes look horrible. That's why I put Varudo in the title as well. But cleaning up Varudo is a lot more annoying than the other stuff. I mean, the functionality and overall it works, I believe. I guess we can check that. I always wanted to do... He's coming out at the very least. He's not hiding. Usually he breaks after a couple of times because I forget to turn him back on. Let's see what the headpad. The headpad works as well. What a nice thing. I also wanted to make a custom TTS redeem. However, I'm relatively torn on that. So what it would be is a channel point redeem that lets you talk through a tiny animated character. Sort of like a mascot type deal, right? It wouldn't be every chat message because that's really annoying. Just a couple ones, but I think that's just extra noise that we don't need. If I'm being honest, it's just... Am I not noisy enough? Am I not annoying enough? Do I have to introduce new annoying stuff? But the idea is endearing, I suppose. So it was on the table, but honestly, at the moment, I'm having a hard time focusing on anything. Well, the biggest problem is I'm tired AF. But I guess we did a little bit. There must be something we can do today. Let me think. We can do some RPG Maker at the end. I believe that is a possibility. Let us boot up that cursed program and let's try to make a quick ability. Because I have been brainstorming a couple ideas on how to make a certain mechanic, and it has not worked as of, or I've not been. The problem was I've not figured out how to. I've not conceptualized in my brain on how I want to do it. So we'll have to figure it out. So. Last time we did RPG Maker, we made Fuyu. Fuyu is sort of a funny caster. I can show you. We can play a little bit around with it. I can show you what Fuyu can do. If we can figure this out. Right. So Fuyu is a magical caster. She's a wind caster. And her abilities are just revolving around very basic wind magic that allow her to stack Updraft. Updraft is a passive which stacks on all wind-aspected magic. She can use Updraft in order to use her special abilities. One of these is, for example, Cyclogenesis, which is a single target a move that allows her to do massive damage, and we will just use that because it's good for showcasing. And this is sort of a pretty hefty ability. And the opportunity, which is more of a setup tool, is summoning a Spectre. This way she summons a little sprite, which is indicated here, that will echo her abilities and give you extra stacks when using wind magic. So it's sort of a setup. So you want to bring out your Spectre as soon as possible and then start casting. And whenever you cast a magic, you can see that the Spectre is doing a tiny bit of extra damage, which results in a combo and also giving her more stacks of updraft. Now, if you use one of the ultimate abilities, this is the first one, I've not made the other one, then the Spectre does not only echo a part of the damage, but in this case 100% of the damage, and disables updraft for 2 turns. Now the disable I actually haven't done yet. It's interesting. I should probably figure out how to do that, because that's actually kind of hard to do. But now if you use Cyclogenesis, the animation actually changes quite a bit. Still the first part is this one, but the Spectre also adds a second component to it. That's a proper laser, and then it does an extra chunk of damage, which is basically just double damage. I liked playing around with the custom animations a little bit. I like going overboard for special abilities like that, even at the very beginning of the game. So they tend to be a little bit loud, but I think that's kind of a charm. I think... Oh, I actually have done the regular attack. That's pretty cool. What I like about the custom Spectre sprite... the Spectre also wasn't removed, which I should have done. Let's see. Let's use a couple more magic to bring the Spectre back. The Spectre also does mimic some of the animations, which is kind of cute. So we're summoning her again. Now the Spectre's here. Now if we attack, we can kind of see the Spectre helps with attacking, and it's also casting. It's kind of, I don't know, I find it to be very endearing. So this is actually a super cool thing that I've done. Now I've commissioned. I didn't make the sprite, of course. But Our Lady for You is missing a couple of abilities. So first of all, and I think this is a boring part, is we need to actually remove the Summon Spectre from Cyclogenesis. Right, so Fuyu Spectre active off, and then we also need to remove the state. Change state, Fuyu, and Fuyu needs to lose the Spectre. Perfect. And we also kind of need to kill Updraft, huh? So we remove Updraft? Is that even possible? Is that possible to remove a passive ability like that? I guess we'll have to see, huh? Now is the interesting question if that works out the way. Because if that works, then we can just add a disable state that once it expires, adds the other state again. So let us summon a Spectre, because the passive should only be disabled if we use the advanced version of this ability, because it's supposed to be more straining. Also, the Spectre explodes here, which is kind of cute. Okay, Updraft does not get removed. That is a problem. We need to figure out how to remove passive states. So this is something we actually do have to do. So let's figure out if the plugin gives us any indication on how we actually do that. Passive. Is state affected? They do not match a convertible. Checked for an affected state because are not detected to the backlight. The functions add new state do not apply to passive states. This means any of the JS related will not incur either. Why are passive states not considered affected by? Let's look at it differently. There are two ways to grant skills to actors. They can acquire skills by levels, items, or events, or they can equip gear that temporarily grants the skill in question. Learning a skill is direct, temporarily granting the skill is indirect. These two factors, regular states and passive states, are the same way. Passive states are indirect and therefore unaffected by state conditions. Okay. Passive condition switch on determines the passive condition of the state based on switch. Replace X with the idea to determine the state's passive condition. What do you mean condition? Not what I'm looking for, I believe. Multi-class. Not sure. Passive condition determines the passive condition of the state based on JavaScript code. Condition can be met. Huh. It's a little difficult. I don't know if this is a Boolean thing where if the condition is met, the state is active or something. Let's see if there's a plugin command for stuff. Plugin parameters, no. Okay, so we could make it more jank, and instead of it being a passive skill, the passive skill adds the skill at the start of battle, which is and adds a but that's annoying. No, we don't want that. Can we like hide a state or something? It doesn't need to be skill visible. It's only skill. No def clear, remove, group defeat, reapply, positive state, negative state categories. Bypass. Turn color, max turns. Come on, give me something I can use here. This is a little annoying. Passive states are states that are always applied to actors, provided that their conditions have been met. Okay, wait a second. Okay, wait, this is good. This is actually good. Okay, condition class ID. A condition switch on. Okay. Passive condition switch on. Okay. Maybe this is just as easy as this. Updraft. And then whatever was in this, which is 262. 262. All right, let's see if that works. I hope this works. Okay, passive state's not active. And now updraft is okay, perfect. Okay, so what has to happen is, wait, does that mean the passive state actually exists when, because the switch is off? Does it show in the menu? Does it show in the menu? It does. Okay. Perfect. But if we... Oh, now we didn't go into a battle. That's unfortunate. Not a problem, though. We use... For Fuyu, we can use Battle Core. Is there like beginning and end stuff? There was there we go. Post-battle event. Pre-battle event. Yeah. Combat resetter and 28 would be the next one for pre-battle. Okay, fair enough. And then 28 would be... We can do this, we can do this. And then pre-combat event. And then this is post-combat event. Again, we don't really need all of this because this is like... This is from the old game. But we can... What we can do is control switches. Fuyu Spectre active? No. Fuyu Updraft active. At the... Before the combat begins, we turn on the passive. And I guess we turn it off once the fight ends. Not that we relatively need to. I'm not sure if that's a good idea, but it's still learned as an ability, so I think it's fine. And then during cyclogenesis, we are during cyclogenesis, what we are doing is we were removing Spectre and we're turning the updraft off. So now, and we also need to add a state that helps what's the, how do you call it when there's no wind? Weather related terms. Full okay. Let's maybe there's like a cool term for it. Breezy. Sustains winds of 15 to 25 miles per hour. Okay. Backing wind. Cat. Cap. Chance. Cirrostratus. Cirrocumulus. This stuff's insane, by the way. There's some cool stuff in here. Science has some pretty... Cyclogenesis I really just picked up because there was a Wikipedia page with names of weather phenomenon sorted by their element. You could literally look at like wind-related events, and then there's just some plasma storm or whatever. Really cool stuff. What's that? Let me figure this out. List of severe weather phenomena. That's it. There's electrical storm, there's a thunderstorm, there's a multicellular thunderstorm, there's a pulse storm, and then you have like ocean stuff, you have high tides, sneaker waves, storm surge, undertow. Then you have like ice has apparently a mega cryometeor, which is insane. And then obviously you have stuff that you already know, acid rain and stuff like that, and rainstorm, monsoon, and then for earthquake you have like landslide and rockfall, stuff that you heard before. And then wind has insane stuff. It has cyclones, of course, we know this. Then cyclogenesis, we have Bohemian wind. There was some other stuff, just wind gusts, I guess. There's some cool stuff in here, that's for sure. But we're looking for something that doesn't have any wind in it. Diurnal effects, divergence, drizzle. Something exhausted. We want calm breeze or something. I'm not sure if I'm... Now, if I was a weather scientist, I would know this. Iridescence, jet stream, a La Nina, latent heat, a likely macroburst. Dude, I love the internet. You can just look up random stuff. It's so cool. Permafrost. Pineapple Express. What? They really come. Okay, maybe some of these are not as cool. Progressive flow. Radar. Retrograde. Shower. Precipitation that is imminent in space and time. Squall line. Straight line winds. Stratus. I know there is Windstille in German. Did they really just call it calm? Surely there must be something better. Ah, still air. I guess I'll just call it calm winds. I think that's the easiest way to do it. Do we have something that resembles calm winds? Any calm winds in the chat? I really strange icon to look for. Maybe just something like this or something. The error is still no updraft stacks can be gained. And then remove after turn end 2. Yep, that should be good. And then on expire state, target game variables switch. Game variables switch. How do I activate game variables? Set switch. Turn on switch. True. Ugh. Help me. Switch. Script calls. Set value number. Set game switches. Okay. On expire state, game switches dot set value number is 262, and that would be true. Game switches set value or true on. Oh wait, no, that's wait, you don't need to have a passive condition. You just don't need anything. You're just a regular state. You don't even need to be a passive. You can just go. And you're just giving me the state at calm winds. Okay. So I get calm winds. Updraft gets out. This gets on. This state doesn't actually need to do anything because I only get the stacks if I actually have the passive state. So this is just a visual thing. All right, let's see. What? Where's my stuff? Oh, does the start battle not count? Oh, I think I need to save. I don't think otherwise this doesn't work. No, it actually does not work. Okay, does battle test not trigger the battle start switch? That's really annoying, actually. No, it just doesn't work. Okay, cool. Hasn't it worked before? Pre-combat event. For your updraft active on. For your updraft active. 6. Oh, wait. 263. There we go. This switch needs to be on. Wrong switch. Huh? Saving again. It's still not activated. Are you kidding me? Is there like a debug in this test? I don't think there is. Well, that's unfortunate. Let's see if it just doesn't work on... Okay, it works here. Okay, fair enough. That's actually kind of annoying. Why does battle test not do the pre-events? They should. Mechanics. Common event on map. Ah, I see. Okay. That's bad. I guess I could put them in here. I could put them in JavaScript. That would make it easier, I guess. And would trigger them. I can figure my way around that. It's probably not the end of the world if it's like this. If I want to test the fights, I'll just throw it in there as like a trigger. Or just remove the condition for a while. Okay, well, we still need to test whether or not it works. So let us get right into it. Oh, right. We have 3 members here. We don't need that. That's gonna be taking too long. All right, for you. Let's go. All right, updraft is enabled. We don't have any updraft stacks yet, so we're gonna start by generating some. Unfortunately, the visual appearance of the stacks aren't there yet. But we do have 1 updraft now. Would be a 2nd stack. Now we can summon the Spectre. Okay. Now we should be at 0 stacks again. Yep. And now we need to accumulate. Pretty good. We have 2 updraft stacks. We'll do another 2, and then we are at 4. And then the next ability should remove both the passive state and the Spectre. Perfect. All right. The air is still. No updraft stacks can be gained. Okay, perfect. And my tracking also died, but that's okay. So if I now do magic, I gain no updraft stacks. Wait, no, I did get them. Because I didn't do a check for that. I didn't do a check for that. I didn't actually do a check for that. And on expire, this also didn't give me my thing back. It didn't give me my state back. On expire, game switches set value. True. Oh, because it's the wrong number. Why did it not do that? Because these don't have the check for it. I need to make the checks. If Fuyu Spectre is on, if the Spectre is on, the updraft is also always on. Hello, iPhone, would you like to do things for me? You little oh cheeky boy. Okay. So what is this Spectre can only be on when updraft is also on. There is no other way of this working. So here I just need to check whether or not the switch is on. Conditional branch. Whether or not Fuyu updraft active is on. And if so, you do this. All right, that's the only thing I need to change. That's pretty simple. And tailwind. Cast windfall. Cyclogenesis. There we go. And right. I see. Okay, we're just updating the number. Perfectly fine. And now it should work. Let's test it again. Okay. Real quick. Hop on Marathon, you missed the beta. I mean, it's I'm not gonna purchase it. I'm sorry. I already wasted my money on Arc Raiders, which I probably shouldn't have. But it is what it is. Sometimes you win and sometimes the other ones win. So far I haven't seen anything of it being anything that I'd like to do. So let's also put up the console. Can a weak property of set state if they are undefined? What the hell are you talking about? Okay. Now there is nothing, and I should also have no stacks, right? Yep. And if I do slicing wins, I should gain no stacks. I didn't gain a stack. Perfect. But why couldn't it set the state of undefined? That's kind of my problem here. What could you not set and why didn't you? Oh, that's not what I wanted. Yeah, no, I think I'm good on shooters for now. Other people just ruin my fun. All right, let's see when this error comes into play. Okay, nothing so far. There it is, on the Spectre activation. On the Spectre animation. User set state display. Oh, because I didn't update it. Okay. Wait. There we go. Fair enough. Okay, that's fixed. I can't think of any other games that I only play games with a gun or ball. Ah, yes. We love the gun and ball torture. Honestly, that's fine by me. I mean, I've been playing League of Legends for way too long, so I'm definitely not the one to throw stones or whatever. But yeah, we made the stack mechanic work. That was quick. That was actually pretty easy. I thought this was gonna be harder, but it's actually super easy. Yeah, unfortunately the display isn't really working, so the player doesn't really have a good visual reference for whether or not his stacks are actually up and about. There's a couple of other things I still need to do, and that goes into the initializing. Actually, just at the end of combat. The end of combat needs a little bit of a reset here, so we just use that. I light and play Maple Story. Hell yeah. Maple Story. Hop on Maple Story. Hop on... What's the other one? L-Sword. Hop on L-Sword. Yeah. Hop on Lateal. That's a game, right? Lateal? Yeah, Lateal. Kinda Shark Entertainment Limited. Contains in-game purchases. Couldn't have guessed. Right, that's my IP. You don't need to see that. Was my local IP though, so in case you want to go back, it's probably not going to be too helpful. Hop on Dungeon Fighter Online. Yeah. Hop on Dungeon Fighter Online. What's the hop on thing? Yeah. I saw I had like a box. There was like someone, when I was outside, someone was carrying a box, and it had like shop and then something, but it was like perfectly cut off on the side. Like the tape was like cut off, that from my viewport, it just said hop on, and I was just saying my neurons have been activated. All right, so we do this. We change this to off. We remove all our okay, scary. We kill our items. Change items, since we're managing these stacks with items. We're decreasing them by 4, making sure there's none left. Is there anything else we need to do? We need, in order, what happens if... Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to find out. I need to end the battle, actually. Because I need to figure out whether or not the sprite swap actually stays. So the dummies need to get 100 health instead. And then, because we're changing the sprite, which I'm not sure if that's a permanent thing. Give me slicing winds. Give me downburst. What? How are you still alive? Now we transformed into the Spectre version. Damn. Wait. How much health do you have? You shouldn't have that much health. Did I make these guys level? Wait, these are invincible, I think. State resisted. You fuckers can't die. I guess. No, I got it. I got some esoteric MMO baller knowledge. Hop on Rusty Hearts. No, that one was that was a game. Not for the faint of hearts. I could also say Vindictus, but that's a little bit more well known, I suppose. All right, we're summoning the Spectre. We're killing these guys, and then we'll see if the Spectre retains, if we retain the form at the end. We retain it. Okay. It's a permanent change. We need to reset it. Otherwise, this do not be working. So we need to go into Cyclogenesis, take the actor battle settings, yep, and change them back to whatever they are. Right. Where are we? Post-combat event. Yep. Perfecto. Yep, I know that's right. Me being Yandev pilled and removing every skill individually. I need to figure out a better way to do modular blade, but Oh, this is actually horrendous because it only takes Actor 1 and Actor 2. Oh, this doesn't actually work for Modular Blade. Yeah, I get it now. Because, yeah, okay, it only worked in my previous game. Actually, I have to remove this one. I have to remake Modular Blade from scratch with a different logic, which makes sense. We'll figure it out. All right. Now the script should remove our Spectre form. Could probably do this a little bit easier. Okay. Have you tried Bussy Ice Pops? They are pretty much ubiquitous here. They're like kind of the company. And Spectre's gone. Perfect. Updraft is activated. Everything else is perfect. All right. The initialization has worked, but it doesn't work in battle test, which is kind of annoying. But yeah, the ice pops, they are kind of notorious. They were at every kiosk, is what we're calling them. I guess you would call them a corner shop or a bodega if you're from the east. Fucking freaky shit boy pussy ice pops. That's... Look. It's a bit different, okay? Bit different over here. They came up with these terms independently. They're not related. Your game does not have an Orgush. That's true. It does not have an Orgush. I could technically put one in, but so far there isn't. Honestly, there is one instance where a lot of characters are needed. And that's the adventurous qualification test, because there's going to be a bunch of adventurers that are also participating. So there's going to be the opportunity for a bunch of characters to just be included, and they're just kind of roaming around doing stuff, accumulating points, and maybe you get to punch them if you want to. Okay, we made Cyclogenesis. We made the passive work properly. Now we could do Fortress of Wind, actually. If you put an Orgush in your game, it will increase the game's coolness by -25. It's an interesting way to, to phrase it. -25 increase. That's a lot. I'm so lazy. I just want to sleep. Let's make Fortress of Wind. Sure. Rudimentary. Fortress of Wind. Where do we have our document, actually? Oh, that's open. Please, not my password document. No, I know it opens with nothing. It's fine. I have a funny document. Fortress of Wind. 4 stacks, 20 MP, heal magic shield for the entire party. If cast with Spectre, add MP restore, extend shield to physical and magical, and disable Ultra for 2 turns. Okay, so we're currently working it on Fuyu. That's our Wind Mage. And in this case, Fortress of Wind is just a protection spell. It's an ultimate. Heal a magic shield for the entire party should be pretty simple. If cast with Spectre, add MP restore, extends shield to physical and magical. Okay, so we're starting off with the healing spell. It should be pretty simple. We do have ones. I think it's a water spell. Cleansing Waters? Nope, it's Invigorating Tides. Well, we'll start Invigorating Tides. That would be Wind Fuyu ultimate ability. Yep. Why do not give the ultimate evasion for 1 turn? Because that's not what it was supposed to do. Also, it doesn't seem that powerful. Okay, so heal plus magic shield. She's gonna be the first party member that the hero is playing with, and the hero also doesn't have any healing, so it is a infrequent way to restore some health, as well as giving you a shield, which can be useful. It full heals and give 100% evasion, so you can breathe a bit. I mean, the healing already adds enough breathing room. I don't think the evasion is necessary. I think the heal and shield is kind of, there's like too many things at once. You don't need. It's supposed to be a defensive. That's why it's called Fortress of Wind. Like, of course, wind can be associated with agility and stuff like that, and with dodging. In this case, it is supposed to be a wind barrier. So and the reason for that is because there's wind wall, and there is neutral magic, which is just common magic that if a caster can use wind magic, they can usually use like a bunch of their regular magic. And wind wall is one that creates a magic shield based on magic attack. And Fortress of Wind is basically a enhanced version, which not only creates a shield, but also heals. And if it's used with the Summon Spectre, it will also do MP restore and extend the shield to not only give magic shield, but also a physical damage shield, so a full damage shield, which is quite a bit more powerful. So we don't need a modular thing. Post apply if state affected. Custom action sequence if target is state affected 90. Remove state 90. What was state 90? Is that just the bleeding? Oh, that was lacerate. Okay, yeah, I see. Okay. Fortress of Wind. Let's see. We might need to make a custom icon for that, but we'll figure it out. I think we'll just use this button for now. Oh, it's not the same. What have I used for this? It's this one. Yep. How many party members would there be, and can you swap characters? Not entirely certain on that. So the idea is that you're going to be running around with the hero, the main character, and you're going to meet all kinds of party members. Whether or not you will be able to switch them later on, I haven't thought that far yet. The idea is it's definitely possible. The question is if I do want to do that. I like being able to mix and match characters, but I also like games that stick you with certain parties depending on how the story goes. And I like frequent switching of point of views. So I like playing the story from a different character while the hero is doing other stuff elsewhere. I like splitting up a lot because that would give character dynamics and stuff like that. So that would be kind of where we're at. Would recommend just giving every ability of one element the same icon for Wind, the funny green tornado. Yep, I've thought about that. I'll probably mix it up a little bit because these are ultimate abilities. I haven't really thought about an icon convention for these. Maybe the ultimate abilities have like this kind of like shiny ball that just counts as ultimate. Maybe I'll switch them back. This is not super important at the moment. I'll figure this out as I keep playing and testing, because that's not the last time I'm gonna see these icons. I'm gonna run every single fight. I'm gonna be testing this a million times, and then I can kind of do that. Make it a shinier tornado. I could do that. So you are a certain hit. You are also a 0 speed for now, even though you shouldn't be. For your ultimate ability, does this say? No, this does not say. Strong heal for the entire strong heal and a magic shield for the entire party. And then if Spectre is summoned, also restore MP and extend shield to physical damage to absorb physical damage. There we go. Okay, so this would be, what is the Spectre? So basically the way Fuyu works is she has updraft stacks and she gains updraft every time she casts wind-based magic, and she can either use these ultimate abilities to use her stacks, or she can start by summoning a Spectre, which echoes some of her, like whenever she casts wind magic, the Spectre echoes, which grant extra stacks of updraft and also extra TP on regular attacks, which means it's basically an accelerator. So instead of, you can either get instant gratification by pressing the big button, or you summon the Spectre and do nothing for one turn, but basically down the line you'll be a little bit stronger. Actually, a lot stronger, because this is like her main mechanic. Okay, actually, we don't need to do this, I believe. This is already in Cyclogenesis in there, right? Let me see. Yeah, removing Spectre right here. We don't have to put this in here. Okay, so we now we need okay. Motion trail, updraft, and then soft cast, and then oversaturation, and then animation ID can just be the shield for now. We'll figure out a proper animation for this. I'm not doing this today. We have, I want this RPG Maker have separate barrier for each damage. I always thought they never had unique shields. They do with a plugin. RPG Maker by default doesn't have it, but I have the shields that do either physical, either magical, or both. There's also armor penetration, there's shield penetration, there's shield break, there is partial startup and stuff. So there's a bunch of stuff. Show animation. If Fuyu Spectre is on negative inversion, sure. I don't think I need to go overboard like that, so we'll just use something. So I don't need to make the complete animation. I just need the functionality. All right, so this, if Fuyu Spectre is on, this all happens. Show animation, this all gets pulled off, and that works. Okay, so we need to make a custom shield. We already have Gale Wall, but I think we wanna make this a little bit stronger, that shield. So we're adding Fortress of Wind, which is a what do we do? 6 magic attack shield. Might be too strong, but we'll see, because this thing doesn't actually run out. Fortress of Wind, and then with Spectre it would be Absolute Fortress. Yes. Fortress. And absorbs all damage. And now we need to do Magical Absorb Barrier, and instead of Magical Absorb Barrier, we need... What are you called? Is it in skills? Fuck. Where are you? Are you in Element Status Core? No. Are you in Battle Core? No. Where were you? Now I actually do need to find you, huh? Battle system. Anti-damage barriers, that's what it was. Okay. Hey, there's nullification barriers, cancellation barriers, there's also some other stuff. Absorption barriers. MP dispersion is also, so you had, it's like a mana shield, also pretty nice. All barrier. What's that? Hit type. Barrier cancel damage over. That's not what I'm looking for. Just looking for the regular barrier. Absorb barrier. There you go. All damage types. Physical and magical only. I guess I just do all. Yeah, I guess I just do all. There's only physical and magical, really. There is some... Wait, that is true damage, but I don't know if that affects it. So far, I have no instances of true damage on enemies. All absorb barrier, user mat 6. I think that's fine, yeah. And then there's also MP restore in there. How do I restore MP the easiest? There is an MP recover, but I can't really put that in because I can't change. There is a way of changing the formula, but I think this does not apply. Yeah, this does not apply. This does not change the type of formula it is. So I need to find an alternative way. I guess I can just add it like that, huh? Fortress of Wind. Current target, make effect current target, and then add change state, entire party at Fortress of Wind, Absolute Fortress, yeah. And if that's not the case, we are just adding we're just adding the Fortress of Wind. I think that should be the easiest. Fortress of Wind. Okay, fair enough. And I think that should be all right. I think that's about as good as it gets. All right, let's teach it to our adventuring guide. And see if that works. So we need our hero with us, unfortunately. And our dummies need to get a little bit beefier again. Otherwise, they will die too quickly. I'm pretty sure I've forgotten a bunch of stuff, but we'll just figure it out. We will figure it out. I'm putting a battle bag in here. This is annoying. Specify battle bag. Give me forest long or something. What was that? There we go. Kind of annoying. All right, you're just hero guarding. All right, let's start. Okay. Yep, 2 downbursts should be enough. Okay, that lets us cast our first Fortress of Wind, and let's see if that works. Oh. I didn't actually put the right event in here. That makes sense. Okay. Dummies get a little bit more health so they don't perish. 50. All right. Had them invincible before, but I might need them to die sometimes, so. All right. Now we have to get a proper battle back, even though everything's kind of positioned wrong. All right, let's try again. Would be easier to just have these not cost stacks so I don't have to do it, but that's okay. Rogard. All right, Fortress of Wind. We're starting off. Wait, why are we just healing? Why are we just healing us? That's not good. HP recover all allies. Current target. All targets. And that would be here then as well. There you go. Let's hope all targets, enemies too. Nope, that's not how it works. Targets means the scope of the attack, which in this case is the entire party. It's all party members, so that should not work on enemies. That would be a bit silly. Try that again. Fortress of Wind. Perfect. All right. And we also have Fortress of Wind, which both gave us a shield, and it blocks 96 damage, which is not that much, but that's just because in her current state she does not have a lot of magic attack, which is fine. Also no updraft stacks, which is also okay. And now we need to do the whole thing, but with the Spectre summoned. So now you can see the entire loop, I guess. A little convoluted because it takes a little while. Alright, now we're summoning the Spectre. Same animation, I'll fix that later. I guess the barrier's still up. I guess it would double up the barrier, huh? That's kind of interesting. Didn't think of that, actually. Alright, we're now getting 2. Actually, the problem is I don't have any MP anymore. That's not good, because Fortress of Wind actually costs MP. No, I can't cast it now. Ah! Damn. Actually have no way around that. This is why you don't make things cost that when you're just testing. Okay, fair enough. Okay. The only thing, oh yeah, I guess I should add the MP restore, right? Because we didn't have that either. So we should just do this as we cannot do that right now. Change MP, entire particle, increase by, I'd say 40. Let's see if that actually works. If we're already here, then we'll also change this to costing nothing. Just to make sure this is a little faster on us. Speak to the horse. Okay. We'll start off summoning a Spectre right away. So we can skip that part. I do know that if I cast the other thing, it will just double up on the barrier, which might be an intended feature, maybe. Just having 2 barriers up if the one isn't broken, but I'm not sure if that's... It seems a little jank. Right, now comes the spectered up version of the Fortress of Wind. Okay, the MP is restored, but it doesn't show an indicator, which is a little weird. Can we get like a... There is like a way to show this stuff. There is like damage pop-up that we can show. Damage pop-up. Current state of damage received or being healed. Current. That's not... That doesn't work. Shit, how can I... Is there any way I can change the formula to be MP restore as well? I think we would do... Wait, it's like... There's like a mix. You can do like a MP plus 20. AMP equals AMP plus 20. And then you can do like one of these where you like... But I don't exactly remember how it went. I do have this in Catalyst Strike, I believe. Where is Catalyst Strike? I have too many abilities. I made way too many abilities, but it is really fun making abilities. Where do we have it? Did I even... Quick Strike? Muscle Magic? Did I remove Catalyst Strike? Surely not. There you are. There. Gain MP. Ah, there we go. Math round M... Gain MP. Okay, I see. Yeah, that's not gonna be necessary. What I need is just 20. Oh, 40. Let's do 40. Gain MP 40. And then this should be a compound use in this case. And I think that actually does show on the damage pop-up thing. So we would change the mechanic plugin command, and that would be, I believe, battle core. And then mechanic damage formula, because we need to gain, let's see, and then a, yep, we're changing the formula to include the mana region component, and then afterwards we're changing it back to default, so it doesn't change it permanently after we affect this. And then we also do this. Change state Empire Party Absolute Fortress. That's totally fine. I think that's it. Yep. Let's also change the Summon Spectre to 1 cost, so just to make it 1 turn faster. Exciting stuff, but I do need to sleep soon, so I will take my leave after this, I believe, if I got it to work. And now Fortress of Wind. Ah, yes, okay. Wait, that looked weird. Why was the... Wait. Because it's A, and A is actor and not target. It's B gain MP, because B is always the target of the formula. Yeah. And just to make sure that we're actually doing that, we're giving our aspiring hero an ability that actually costs magic. I think, which one do we want to give them? I do believe there should be something. Inner focus costs magic quite a lot, actually. I don't think he can even afford that. Now that I think about it, it's probably too expensive. Just learn Cauterize, I guess. Just some fire spells, some old stuff that I worked around. All right, one last try. Yep. Cauterize is a great spell. I will definitely use that again. It's one of my favorite things that I've done. It heals a portion of your damage taken over 5 turns. Like every turn, when it's your turn, it restores a health based on how much health you lost. So it's actually smart healing, which is incredibly broken. But it's not really smart healing. If you're full HP and not actually taking damage, then it's not that good. Alright, let's see. Perfect. Alright, nice. And now we both also have a shield, which is Absolute Fortress, which absorbs all damage. Probably needs a different icon. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I guess we'll give it a bigger shield. Do we have a bigger shield? We probably have a bigger shield. We definitely need a proper animation, that's for sure. That's kind of a lackluster animation. Just reusing some stuff. Do we not have shields here? We have not a magic shield. I guess this icon would be good, but you're more of an equip item. You're not really. I guess we'll just take this one. Oh, it should be fine. Okay. Well, well, well. It appears we have made Fortress of Wind. And it is a usable ability that is actually quite nice. I like it. Big fan of Fortress of Wind. In any case, I have to take my leave for now. I need to go to bed. I need to get up at 4 a.m. I need to go to work. But we've made some progress, and Fuyo is looking ever more slightly complete. The next time we're doing this, we actually need to make her inventory ability. So I've made her a windcaster, which is sort of not really her main theme. Her main theme is actually being an NPC. She's an NPC VTuber and is sort of like a guild clerk, giving you a bunch of quests, a quest giver, but obviously with her own story. So a bunch of stuff would be related towards items, or maybe even have like a custom mechanic that has to do something with quests. But actually the thing I'll do is that she will be outside of combat. She'll be a little bit more unique, so she can do some stuff like interacting with the vendors maybe, or even like set up shop herself, and then you have to play like a minigame or something. Would be interesting to see if I can revolve some mechanics to bring that character to life a little bit. But for now, the core of her abilities are done. I'll have to think about whether or not this is actually satisfying to use. There's a couple other abilities that are still missing. I do believe there is... I wanted to do Magic Focus, which increases magic attack that allows her to have just a buff. And then there's also TP Spenders. And I think the TP Spender is going to be from the... gonna be the stuff, and I've had an idea. Select one medicine and use it for no cost. That's a little annoying to do, but it is simply a check where you use an item and then it just gives you back that item. But the problem is I don't know how you'd get from a spell to the magic, the item use menu, but I'm pretty sure that's a common thing, because there's basically there's a common ability that's just throw. Final Fantasy has it, where you can just throw items and they do damage based on some arbitrary thing, and I'm assuming it should be pretty easy to do. That once you press the skill, it will actually bring up an inventory screen. I hope so, at least. If not, then... Because logic-wise, this seems like a very, very special case, because RPG Maker doesn't work as fluently that you can just add, like, open another window willy-nilly. If you select a skill, it moves on with the turn resolution, kind of. I believe it. Well, maybe we'll have to see. In any case, that's a topic for next day. I hope you guys enjoyed a little bit of like a down-low experience. I'm always down low, but I'm definitely feeling more tired than usual, which probably has something to do with the fact that I didn't really sleep last night, so I have to catch up. Anyways, I'll be gone now. Have a good night. Oh yeah, I remade all my scenes. Everything is different now. You're getting this one.